Roll dice, be nice, and stay tuned. This is the Live to Die podcast.
So it's going to be a little outdated by the time this actually airs, but we were talking about it and we play Pathfinder, so it really seemed relevant. But there is a new playtest that Paizo just put out for 2 new classes and a book that's supposed to come out winter of 2024. So we'll get it in like a year plus. Have any of you looked at any of the playtest or the classes?
Just the classes. I just saw what they were. I didn't look at any of the abilities or anything. I looked at one of them to see what it actually meant, but then I haven't looked at anything else.
You want to take this, Jared? I looked at it too.
No, I forget honestly what they're called. Animist is one of the classes.
The Animist and the Exemplar, I think.
Yeah, the Exemplar.
So there's 2 new classes. I don't know what the theme of the book is. I'm sure they've said it, and I just literally scrolled right past it and be like, no, just get me to the playtest.
Pinocchio. No.
They're really cool. So the Animist is someone who is a conduit between the living and the dead. And they can basically sort of like conjure or manifest different types of spirits. And while those spirits are manifested, they get different abilities and bonuses.
Oh, cool.
So they have like a small Rolodex, basically, as far as I can tell, of spirits, and you'll kind of manifest them and then, you do some shit.
It feels like maybe like a mix of cleric and witch or something like that, like somewhere in the middle between those. I don't know. I mean, just from a concept, not necessarily.
It sounds like Dark Strange.
A little, yeah. It's what both of these are really, really interesting in terms of like, for me, what they narratively remind me of. And then the other one, the Exemplar, is someone who has a spark of divinity. And I didn't read enough of the background plot to know if that's like a part of another god or if they themselves are like potentially a fledgling god. And their whole thing is that they can basically channel their spark of divinity into icons that gain more power. And that can be weapons or parts of their own body to like channel the divinity into a fierce stony gaze. And both of them, like, this is the most comic-y, like animated character sort of thing ever. Totally. It's super cool. But it did make me think about, well, since only Jared and I have looked at the playtest, I don't think this is going to be the world's longest banter to be like, so what do you think about these new? Jane, what do you think about the new playtest classes?
10 of 10, really. Like, super cool.
There's a lot of eyebrow movement while she's saying this.
I think they're shit. No, I have no opinion because I haven't seen them yet.
Trent and I haven't had our coffee yet, so
I'm about halfway through this one and I'm going to need more.
Yeah, please revisit at a later date.
And I would say expecting it's going to be dope, right? Because Pathfinder.
Yeah, it'll be good.
I do really appreciate the work they put into a playtest and gathering the feedback. And then this is just like, I work in communications, so game recognizes game, I suppose, but they do such a good job on the follow-up after a playtest of like, here's the feedback we received, here's how we're going to change based on that. Because I know like plenty of other games do playtests, and I may not be as plugged into their like community spaces, so maybe I don't see it, but I really like how much effort Paizo puts into closing that loop. Okay, so now to make sure everyone can talk about this for a second, given that we've got the like, uses the dead, is a little bit of a god, do you have a favorite sort of, and I think it's going to be best if it's like, I guess, so some larger than lifestyle characters. What is your favorite type of like character trope or character concept or theme that you like to play in video games or to see in fiction or read in fiction?
Man, that's tough.
Oh no, that's easy for me.
Bingo.
I love the hero, like the Ned Stark who like has this like stain of something bad, and then you realize that he was just really good the whole time.
Yeah.
Like
the moral character.
Yeah, I like the moral character for sure.
I just started rewatching Game of Thrones with Jessica.
Oh my God, we just started rewatching Game of Thrones. Yeah.
And the Ned Stark thing, like the way he's like reserved and quiet every time Baratheon says something about Lyanna, I'm just like,
yeah.
Oh, that means
once
so much
you know
more now.
the story. Yeah.
But it also makes me mad. Like Catelyn is literally the worst.
Oh yeah,
to Jon.
she
So
does
just
kind of suck.
Tell somebody.
But also,
for sure.
Daenerys is also like laying bits, like there's bits of her character that are sprinkled in where you're like, oh, you do start to see what happens with her throughout. Anyway.
Okay, so the the stain that maybe isn't that because they have great honor. The character with honor, basically.
Yeah, the moral
I'm gonna
guy.
kind of go opposite of Jared and say
Okay.
that I love a like snarky villain, or like or just like the type of villain that is like always wins and like always beats the hero that you're rooting for.
Yeah.
You know, up until like the end of the story when they obviously
Sure.
die, whatever. One of my favorite villains comes from a show that I actually watched sort of like in inspiration for the Masks of Death campaign that we did. And it's the BBC's Musketeers, like based on the Three Musketeers. And the guy that they have playing the Cardinal and the way he plays it is just so good, where he's just like, I'm smarter than everyone. I always win. He's snarky as hell. I just love it. And it's like, I love when something gets me rooting for the villain.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
Peter
Capaldi.
Capaldi.
Yeah,
he
he's
became
great.
the Doctor for a while. I think he left that show to be on Doctor Who,
Yeah,
which is
which
a
was
bummer
like-
because he was amazing on
He
the
was
Musketeers.
great as the Cardinal in Musketeers.
I really like the like hard-boiled character. You know, so like the hard-boiled detective who isn't particularly smart, but just keeps like kind of beating at it until they get there. And my favorite variation on that in a larger-than-life character is John Constantine. John Constantine is one of my favorite characters. He's like one of the earlier wizards that isn't like a scholar type character and that just like always barely scraping it by trying to play each side off of each other and kind of getting himself beat up in the process. And to that reason, to really make it Pathfinder-y, that's why I think one of my favorite classes, and I know that Constantine is actually a wizard and can cast spells, but the class to me that gives me the biggest Constantine vibes is the, what's the occult one that came out with the same book as The Mentalist or The Psychic? It's in Dark Archive.
I'm blanking.
I know, me too.
I literally just was talking about this last night.
Thaumaturge?
Thaumaturge.
Yeah,
That's how I see Constantine too. Especially that like crossbow shot, holy shotgun thing he's got at the end.
Oh yeah, Thaumaturge to me gives
Yeah.
me major John Constantine energy. So you know what? Let's quickly. Jane, what? would you-
What? We didn't get Trent's favorite.
What Pathfinder
mine.
class do you feel like most exemplifies?
Ooh.
Jared, do you have one?
Yeah, I mean paladin, right? Or
Yeah.
champion. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a paladin version of a
Yeah.
champion.
There literally is. It's like a
Yeah, that's
subclass
true.
of
That's true.
champion.
I kind of feel like there's always like an evil conniving wizard. Like
Okay.
what I'm talking about could be a good wizard
A lich.
character. Yeah, a lich.
He's like on the edge, right? He just like chose the dark side or
Yeah.
You know.
And is like very smart and always outmaneuvering everyone.
Just for
Like a mastermind rogue.
I was thinking
Yeah,
that
true.
too.
say, I
Okay.
like a redemption character, and I feel like often that happens with a roguish type of character where it's like I'm shady as fuck, but the good person in me playing this character like does some nice things every once in a while, like pour the potion down the
Yeah.
noble cleric's
Yeah.
mouth.
I just
You know?
listened to that. I never got to listen to it when it released.
Oh,
and
yeah?
I re-listened to it like 2 days ago.
All right.
That's our episode,
Yeah.
by the way.
I'm
Rip.
going to go with like a
Rip.
Samuel Tarley, who
Oh,
is
yeah.
like completely useless to start, but then like everybody is just so determined to make him useless, or he just learns through like reading about stuff and you know is
Yeah.
determined to become something.
Now, what Pathfinder
like that.
class do you think would fulfill that?
Oh man.
All of a first level
yeah,
character.
first level characters. Yeah,
Take your pick, make them low level.
yeah.
All right. Well, I think I really appreciate everyone sharing.
I
We
did
could
it. Yeah, I
choose-
did
oh, okay.
the redemption rogue.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, I appreciate everyone sharing with me a little bit about the types of characters they like, but I think now it's time for us to have a little bit of a share from a character I really like.
Oh.
Thanks.
Yeah, Jared, I think you
I
have
don't.
something prepped.
I don't like his character.
Yeah, I've got a little scene. You got any like little scenic sounds?
What
You
kind
know,
of scenic sounds?
Just like little birds chirping, stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
A battle.
I thought you said this was sad.
Well, it'll get there.
Okay.
The birds.
Don't
the
you
birds
worry.
die.
Don't you worry. You know me. I'm a sad boy at heart.
Oh,
Oh, I love
This
you,
is-
Jared. You
this
don't
is-
have to be sad.
this is lovely.
I'm
This
not
is
sad.
nice.
Very
I just like
relaxing.
all sad things.
It's like as I look out the window, this is what it's supposed to sound like.
All right. The camera pans in on a tiny cottage in a sparsely wooded clearing. The Medusan is high, and it's peaceful, but as it draws nearer to the door, you can hear hushed conversation from inside, and a few figures come into focus.
It's been worse of late.
A pencil-thin man dressed in modest finery speaks, frustration furrowing his brow.
The malady would show up here and there for only short stints, but as time has passed, it's become more frequent and lasts much longer. His mother and I are trying to maintain some veneer of normalcy, but it's getting more and more difficult.
He sits in a chair opposite an elderly-looking half-elven woman as she tends to a small cooking pot between them. Her stark white hair in a long braid resting between her shoulder blades. She listens silently, stirring her concoction as he continues.
Something very unnatural is happening here, Tetherly. We've met with priests and priestesses, wizards of some renown in the region, and practitioners of the primal arts. We must find a solution. Can you help us?
Arching an eyebrow, the reclusive woman looks to the corner where a child about the age of 3 is playing with a tiny wooden feline figurine. Etched in its side the letters E.M. Whiskers and tawny reddish-brown fur covers his face and body. Small sharp canines are apparent when he smiles down at his make-believe placing on the hut's floor.
And what would you like me to do, Alex?
She says, never making eye contact with the man.
We'll fix him.
The thin man Alex responds, his eyes desperately pleading with her.
You nobles are all the same. You come to me when you have no other place to turn. 75 pieces, and I'll offer you the solution you so desperately desire.
Alex quickly retrieves a small pouch from his Baroque coat pocket and hands it to the woman, who opens it, inspects it, and places it in a pocket of her own. She looks at him for the first time, her emerald green eyes piercing into him.
Hear me when I say this, and chew on these words, for there is true sustenance within them. There is absolutely nothing wrong with your child. He had been touched by magic, this is true, but I am not certain why you believe this is a profanity. Something or someone has smiled upon your child's passage into this harsh world. It is up to you and your wife to raise him up and accept his differences and find his place. This is not a curse, Alex. This is a gift. Treat it as such. I offer you no cure. Something that is plainly and obviously not an error, but destined to be. Now leave, and reflect exactly on what it is you are afraid of.
The camera begins panning out of the quaint home and back outside into the beautiful natural scene as Alex grabs his small son's hand and helps him into the tiny carriage, and they pull away. The view, however, does not follow the departing duo, but instead stays on the closed door of the hut. Time passes, and the day turns to evening as a few hours go by. We go inside again, and now the obviously half-Olten woman sits in her chair near a small cooking cauldron, but it only holds clear water now. She begins muttering some words of power, and in the water an image of the same child and his father appear, and they are approaching a small manor. It looks like it has seen better days, but is sturdy and spacious. The dimming sunlight peeks over the horizon as they exit the carriage and approach the building. Alex picks up his son as he clutches his figurine and walks him over to the step, places them down on the top step. He kneels, getting into his son's island.
Hey, buddy. I need you to stay here for a minute, okay? I love you.
Alex walks back to the carriage, climbs in, and rides away. The camera pans in closer to the child as he sits clutching his figurine as the horses pull away, and just above him you see a sign that reads, Light of Desna's Children's Home. The woman stops her incantation, and the 3-year-old Lucky fades from view. She closes her eyes and lays her head back against the chair, whispering,
I'm sorry, child. The curse was never with you. It was in their hearts.
Fade to black.
Ooh.
Lucky was a noble.
He's an orphan.
They left him.
They left him.
He left me.
They left him.
Also, great witch voice, Jason.
Oh, thank you.
Fantastic, both voice actors, thank you.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
So sad.
But you know what isn't sad?
Jared using the term Baroque jacket.
Slitting the throats of bandits.
I knew there was inherent risk by using that word, and I was hoping it wasn't awful.
Nailed it.
Great.
Well, Trent's right. Not not Patch right, but right.
No. Oh.
So
Then who cares?
well, hopefully
What does it even matter?
So you've got your east of. You know what? I've got a map over here. Some more Paizo products. I got the Kingmaker GM screen, or like the Kingdom Management screen, which is fun because it has a little map on the outside.
Oh, that's
So you can all see where like you started over there.
I need to take a picture of this so I can draw it in my book.
That's a dinosaur step.
I can also send you the PDFs of the maps if you want
cool,
it.
yeah.
Because they have versions of it that don't have any markings on it.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
So you started to the east. I remember you worked your way down the Shrike River on the, I think, Frontier Road.
Yeah.
And you went through, you started in the one place and you went through the small crossing town, Navakta's Crossing, I think it was, where you talked with the mayor and the woman who ran the Church of Pharasma. You heard some interesting rumors. Jane, do you remember the rumor you heard? I feel like maybe it's a little relevant.
That there was like some sort of culty kind of like bad activity going on with somebody called like the Stag Guy.
The stag guy.
Stag guy.
He fucks.
And Nikolai was all upset because he was like, I'm a stag guy, but I'm not an evil stag guy.
That is not what Nikolai said. Nikolai said, "You're not a stag guy, motherfucker."
I'm a stag guy.
Duh.
And so you worked your way over to the trading post, and then you ambushed some bandits at the trading post.
Yeah.
And you kept one of them alive because
Ambush and Bandits is a great band name.
I like it.
A the B.
Ambush the bandits.
Ambush the Bandits.
And the bandit agreed to, under some duress, take you to the bandit camp. And so you were all at the trading post just north of this rather large forest. And he led you down. You all were on horses now, so you can move a little quicker. So if you keep in mind, I think you'll all have 2. We'll do some speed checks later, but I think that means you'll have 2 exploration points a day you can spend in overland gameplay,
Nice.
as long as you have the horses and can manage to ride them. Took you around the east side of the forest, and so you're just east of the forest. The hex that your bandit prisoner that you let go last episode, it refers to the camp being in. You can see that coming into the southeast of this hex, or from the southeast of the forest, is a river. The Thorn River, which travels deep into these woods here. And he's told you that if you follow the river, at one point you'll find a little more than a game trail going north from the river, following a creek.
A crick.
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 And about 200, it's about 60 feet from the Thorn's north bank, you'll find a path. And if you follow that another 200 feet, the path goes about 200 feet north of the bandit camp. So 60 feet north of the Thorn River, you'll find this bandit camp basically on a game trail. And then he did let you know that the path does continue for another. Oh, it's a full-on path. Okay, I'm fine. We're fine. I don't drink coffee, but maybe I should.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't do it, man. It's not worth the addiction.
Stay clean.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically, north of the Thorn River is a full-on path that 200 feet north of the bandit camp becomes a game trail.
Okay.
But that's what the bandit let you know, and then you send him off. I don't think you ever even asked his name, so you don't get to know it now.
Fuck him.
Name is
I think
Bandit.
we did. We asked him generally how many people he thinks are there at any given time, but I think he was kind of he just demurred. He's like, a lot.
No, I think he did say that, the number fluctuates, but it's between 5 and 10, depending on who's in and who's hunting and who's out banditing.
Is that like Viking?
To go a bandit? Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Go a banditing.
Don't you love it when you get to bandit?
Who doesn't?
Everyone loves a good bandit. All right.
Everyone stay behind me.
So now you wrote down
Everywhere the light touches.
The light touches is your symbol.
Somehow Arthur is just becoming Mufasa.
Is Mufasa the evil one?
No.
Oh my God.
James
I forgot about
has
this.
never seen Lion King.
I think we revisit
James
this
Earl
fact.
Jones.
Yeah, it's literally in the first
We've
season.
discussed this, but he's not ready.
Yeah.
He couldn't cope.
Certainly not.
The bad guy's the bisexual one in there, though. That's
Yeah,
another time.
Saucy Scar.
Another time.
Yeah.
How Disney queer codes their villains.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll save that for another episode.
Simba.
Simba.
So so now we're in the March analog of Galarian, and it is in the afternoon. So the sun's not down yet, but it's not far from the horizon. And you know that you probably have anywhere between like 4 to 6 miles that you're potentially 3 to 6 miles that you're out from this camp. Now you're on horseback, but it's not quiet. What are you all thinking? What's without like, sitting around and planning an Ocean's 11 film, what's sort of your maybe individual thoughts or group thoughts if you've all been talking by text?
I haven't spoken to these people
We
since
haven't
played
at all.
last.
Yeah, I know. We don't talk to each other.
Oh.
Maybe we should talk about it now.
Ari is very motivated by and maybe this is secret. Maybe it's not like immediately apparent, but she really, really wants to do good things or do things she perceives as this is me doing the right thing. And so I think she feels like just going after these bandits is, helping people and going to help this nice couple. And probably she's a little bit irrational, teenagery, hot-headed, let's just go do this thing because I think it's right.
But driven a little bit towards heroism because of your deity, right?
Yeah. And kind of I'm just going to go in and be a badass. And, I think she's probably still carrying around some stuff too with Biff dying and thinking I was on this role of being able to fight all these bad guys. And then my friend died and I couldn't really help him. And so I think that she's maybe got a little bit of something to prove and kind of I'm just going to go in here and be the hero.
I would say Nikolai is trying not to fume so bad over the guy kind of dressing like a stag and taking Erastil's whole, vibe to be the villain. And
you're referring to the stag guy?
Yeah, the stag guy, whatever his name was. I can't remember.
Stag Steve.
The Stag Steve.
The Stag Lord is what they called
the
him.
Stag Lord, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and to use the name Lord, the whole vibe, he's pissed off. So he's kind of trying to calm down and think rationally on his way to murder this heretic.
I feel like we're about to get what's Samuel Jackson's character's name in Pulp Fiction, but his whole speech.
Oh yeah.
I feel like we're gonna get that from
damn,
Nikolai.
I just forgot.
Anyway,
It's too early.
I know.
Yes.
I can't remember Thaumaturge. We can't
Yeah.
remember.
Everybody needs
Just
more
wait till the
coffee.
math starts.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Get that drop ready.
Memory.
Preemptive.
Yeah.
Terrible math.
Arthur is seeking to mete out some revenge.
Ooh.
I know that these bandits weren't directly responsible for Biff's death. I think he even knows that. But I think the group will come to learn that kind of his whole shtick is my brother's dead, the Lich is around, and I am here to mete out some fucking justice.
Sorry, did we know about that, or is that
Oh, that's a canon world event.
Yeah.
The Whispering Tyrant.
I thought you were
Whispering
talking
Tyrant,
about a personal lich that you had a beef with, and I was like, this sounds like it's going to be a problem for us, and I think we should kill Arthur.
Bringing that in at level 2 is a lot.
But that's a good idea, and now there is one.
I think Lucky is looking around and seeing all these steely-eyed people and being like, hey, do we remember what happened last time we rushed into a battle?
Well, I don't.
Which would you like me to tell you?
I'm
I think you can
guessing
probably
I
guess.
can assume.
It was fine.
You were unable to protect my poor little brother.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
No, we were. We were unable to help Biff.
So I assume that means you should
Nikolai
stay
gets quiet
behind
again.
me because you're not very capable.
That's
Ari
interesting.
looks livid.
who the fuck is this guy?
I am Arthur Mon.
You're right, Lucky.
All I'll say is I think we stand a better chance if we work together and coordinate and come up with some sort of plan. And maybe that requires us to move a little slower than we have been.
Should we try to just sneak in and quietly take them out one by one?
I mean, I think we should at least get the lay of the land and see what's going on.
In something not unlike what we did at the outpost.
Yeah. I mean, that was best case scenario for how that could have gone.
You mean we're going to see our favorite band ambush the bandits?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
I've been following them since...
ever since they opened for Cave Juice.
Yes.
You girl,
You get a patch.
I'm sorry.
you should stick as close to me as possible while we fight.
Ari stabs Arthur in the side with her kukri.
I have armor. Haha.
I'll be
Roll an
fine.
attack?
You're so much more annoying than Biff. Anyway,
Well, yes. I have heard this before.
So, do we want to approach with caution? I can go ahead a little bit if we like, or we can do that together.
I'll
I'm
sneak
open
up
to
there with you, but
suggestions.
I will ambush a bandit if we get the opportunity.
I think we should approach together.
Okay.
No, are you going on horseback or are you going to dismount at some point?
No, I don't think there's
Horseback's
an...
not very incognito.
Yeah.
So it's a couple of miles
Are we
right now.
leaving our
You're
horses?
potentially away.
And our llama.
Ah.
Yeah.
I think we should just walk up there, sneak up there.
I agree.
Can you?
Because I'm sure they also have horses. If we need to make a getaway, we could just steal a horse.
I am not very sneaky.
I mean, I am not either.
Clank, clank, clank,
Yeah.
clank.
Clong, clong, clong.
Ari looks at Lucky and she's like, maybe we should shed the dead weight over here.
Are you, by any chance, an expert in being sneaky?
I think I am. Let me see.
You're
Because I believe
you are
there
very
is a
modest
rule.
rogue.
I am an expert.
Trent, would you like to helm? There's a rule for that.
This is my favorite aspect, actually, of Pathfinder 2e.
And you got to use this rule a lot with your clanky dwarf.
Yeah, yeah. Follow the expert.
How does that work, Trenton?
Well, I'm not entirely certain about the entire rule schema, but I believe that with Follow the Expert, everyone in the group can follow the expert in something, in a skill. They have to be an expert in it or higher. And then the roll is one roll for sneaking, for stealth, and it is it's based on the lowest person's stealth.
So,
Which is statistically still better.
you're
Right.
part of the way there. That's if you have a feat, Quiet Allies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can follow the expert as an exploration activity, choosing an ally to attempt a reoccurring skill check while exploring, such as climbing, performing, or a different exploration that requires a skill check, like avoiding notice. The ally must at least be an expert in that skill and willing to provide assistance, so that's hit or miss with Lucky.
No, I mean, in this scenario, he wants to protect himself too, so he would be willing.
So thanks to your ally's assistance, you can add your level as a proficiency bonus to the associated skill check, even if you're untrained. Additionally, depending on how good they are, you'll get another bonus. So you're an expert.
Expert, yeah.
So any one of you who is not, and this is important, if you are trained, even if you are trained, while following you must attempt, thanks to your ally's assistance, you can add. Okay, so basically, here's the deal. Which of you are trained in stealth at all?
I am.
Okay, Jane is. Jane, what are you in stealth?
Like my number?
Yeah.
+7.
No, but are you trained or an expert?
Trained.
Okay. So here's the deal. All of you will get to add your level to your stealth bonus. Jane, you're already doing that. So that's not in play.
All right.
Watch
Now-
out now.
As far as I can tell, and I may be interpreting this wrong, but I think that even though you're trained, Jane, you still will be able to get a +2 circumstance bonus because you're following an expert.
Like the level bonus.
Well, Jane will get her 7 plus an additional 2 for following an expert. So she'll come out at a +9.
Nice.
Both of you two, Jason and Trent, you're going to be rocking your level +2 plus your dex mod.
Oh, we get the +2 for him being an expert.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Now, of course, that's still less than Jared's, level +5 or 6 or whatever you're rocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
+9 total.
yeah. So
But
that's
you
where
still
you're.
keep the minus for your armor, right?
So armor. We really do need to layer those and drop it like an EDM song. There's a rule for that. Welcome everyone to There's a Rule for That. Today there's a rule for that. Let's go to talk about armor and penalties. Armor has a penalty, an armor check penalty, and an strength DC. If you, I'm going to come out of that. You receive the penalty to speed and to checks for your armor if you do not meet the strength requirements for your armor. If you meet the strength requirements for your armor, you do not receive that penalty. However, in addition to that, some armor may have a trait, noisy, which will give you a penalty on stealth checks.
Yeah.
Nothing can remove the noisy well, meeting the strength DC does not remove the noisy trait penalty to stealth. Everyone feel good about that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm great.
Okay. So here's the deal. Everyone go ahead and tell me their stealth bonus. I'm going to roll this behind the GM screen back here. I have dice associated with everyone. Jason, what do you got?
+3.
+3. That's your level +2 plus your dex minus your armor stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You have -1.
Nice.
Awesome.
I can
Well, I have a
appreciate it.
+1 and then the +2 for my level, so +3, right? Isn't that what you said?
+2 for following the expert.
Oh, okay. So then +5.
And excellent. All right. And what's your you said 9.
9, yeah.
Okay, Trent, what's your total bonus?
Rocking a +4.
Ooh, sexy.
Solid.
Jane,
+9 as well.
plus what?
9.
Oh, what?
What? Plus no.
You guys are like, let's be sneaky. I'm like, okay. Clong, clong, clong.
Sure
Let's
enough,
do it.
And we're like,
as you're working your way through the forest, it is Arthur who seems to be the loudest. Now, here's what I'll say. Do you want to, because the bandit gave you a general idea of how far up it is. I'll let you, within a quarter-mile accuracy, I'll let you say, like, that's the point at which we start being really sneaky, because otherwise your overland travel while avoiding notice is much slower, and you'll get there at, like, 10 p.m. As it stands, getting off the horses, you're going to get there at dusk, which is going to, I'm just going to universally call everything low light.
Okay.
Cool.
So we're going to start using the vision rules. I'm not going to hit the drop because I've hit it twice already, but we've got that. So you work your way up the Thorn River for a couple of miles, and it's your first time being in this forest, at least in the game. Do you think any of your characters would have ever been into the Stolen Lands or into these forests before?
No way.
no.
Maybe not quite as far south as this. There's kind of a border that but
Yeah, there's a very similar
it's
forest
becoming
up north.
familiar to him.
And so this is a thick forest. Like, think almost the Black Forest kind of thick. Like, these are old trees. There's whole parts if you were to go farther back from the river where, like, grass doesn't grow a whole lot. It's a lot of, like, pine needles and small undergrowth. It looks like something out of a Grimm Brothers fairy tale. And you're working your way back. There's the gurgling of this river, and it's a pretty good-sized river. So you work your way up northwest, going deeper into the woods. The sun's starting to go down. The combination of the woods and the sun means it's getting a little darker. So let's quickly talk vision. Pathfinder 2nd Edition did some improvements to making it simpler, in my point of view, from earlier D&D and Pathfinder, which used to be like, in low light, you can see 30 feet with these, blah, blah, blah. It's really simple. In low light, you can still see just as far as you would in normal light, but everything is concealed to you, basically. You have a 5% or 20% miss chance, unless you have low light vision. You can then also create circles of full light with torches or otherwise. Do any of you have low light vision?
Yes.
Nope.
All
I
right.
don't think so.
All right. So, Jane, your character, you can see fine. And the rest of you, all of you can see fine without a whole lot of issue. Just, it might be harder. There's a chance you might miss an enemy in the dusk. Jason, what's up?
This might be like, we're not going to get that deep, but
Ooh.
let's say you're sitting back in the dark but shooting into a well-lit area, such as a place with a fire.
No penalty if your target is
Okay.
in the light.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you get a bonus because you're not in the light.
Right.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, like, I like to think of
No
it like,
reason.
No, I play enough video games. I during COVID, Trent and I played a ton of Warzone. I know what it's like to have like a night map
Yeah.
and be like, yeah, they're under a spotlight.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can hit them with a designated marksman rifle. It's
Alright,
fine. No,
Asking for a friend.
despite some other rulings in the TTRPG space, I 100% believe that if your target is well lit, you can see them and hit them.
Okay. And that if you're not lit, it's actually better.
Yeah, believe it or not, in a combat situation, having your opponent spotlit and you in the darkness is a good thing. All right. So let's say you get to that point. You're working up the Thorn River and you see a trail. It's a pretty good trail, maybe anywhere between 8 to 10 feet across dirt worn down, packed, a little bit of gravel. They're not like set gravel, just some stuff over time. And you could see it working, cutting off of the river. While you were heading northwest, this one is heading northeast, kind of cutting up from it. You can't make much out at 60 feet away. The forest is pretty thick, but you can see a trail, and you see it winding up a smaller creek that's coming off of the Thorn River. And this exactly matches the description that the nameless bandit, you monsters, couldn't even ask his name, gave you.
And now we start stealthing.
Yeah, and I imagine like you were stealthier, but now you're going full stealth, and I've got everyone's rolls.
Also looking for like, traps or snares or tripwires or anything like that.
I believe with exploration modes, you can only do one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you're none of you are such a high level of stealth that you get that for free anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's your choice here if you want to.
Definitely sucks.
That does suck.
Bummer.
Yeah. Keep in mind,
So
it's
just
not,
got to hope our passive
exactly.
perception picks it up.
Yeah.
Because that's the nice thing. It isn't like, oh, nope, I'm just totally blind. I'm going to put my foot in this obvious hole. It's like, hey, whatever your DC is. Basically, I'll compare your perception DC versus the stealth
Can I
DC, if anything.
Quickly ask an off-topic question.
Yeah, probably.
Do any of the rest of you have a hard time loving these characters as much as you loved our Masks of Death characters because they were so much more badass?
And Kate, yeah, and like
In depth too, because it's like
Yeah.
once you get to that level, you have so much more going on that I was like, and I mean, I like all of these characters, but there's so often where I'm just like, oh my God, Val was so much cooler.
Wait
I miss
until
not
she's
being
like
able-
level 10. You know?
Yeah, right.
to like stealth directly into the middle of a room and then just start fighting them.
And in a way, it makes the game more interesting too, because you can kind of get rid of these like pretense things and like
Yeah.
get into some more stuff.
I think if these characters survive, though, then they'll probably surpass those characters because
By far.
we'll
Completely
have
agree.
grown more,
Yeah,
you know, with these characters.
true.
Unless James continues to murder us.
Mm-hmm. One at a time.
All right, so let's talk loose party formation. Are you all in a grouped? Are you on a tight little group? Are you spread out? And if so, vaguely, what's the relative position? We don't need exact stuff because one, we're playing for radio audience, and two, I don't want to handle it.
Is there like a hill or elevated spot where I can kind of see over and then down into the camp?
No. As a matter of fact, it's because you're all sort of like along the river, so you're at a lower point generally.
I'll stay about 50 feet outside the camp and look for a spot that I can see the middle the best, I guess.
Okay, so you want to stay far out.
Ari's going to be up in front.
Yes,
So-
girl, you stick by me and we'll go
Jeez.
sort of ahead.
Kate and Colleen, this guy is driving me crazy.
I want to say that I did not, or I unmanifested Spike,
Okay,
so he's not part of it right now.
interesting.
But I think Lucky's creeping up closer than maybe our louder friends.
Okay,
So
so
it's like the edge of the camp.
give me a. So it's not really a formal camp. There's nothing denoting it. So give me some feet. We talking like 30 feet in front of the group?
Well, what
I
does it
think-
look like? Is there like a fence?
Nope. So we're going to start talking now. I wanted to get a relative position. So what I hear is that the first person who's really going to get a look at this in the dark is Lucky.
Well,
that
I
makes
think I
sense.
would also go with Lucky because I
Yeah,
have low light
I think
vision,
so,
so
too.
I can see everything.
Suck it, Arthur.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll try and stick
Like,
behind.
you stay
Clong,
here.
clong, clong.
Nikolai's behind a tree like this mother.
I'm thinking that we stay maybe 2 movement. Well, for me, maybe like 50 feet ahead.
So
That way, if I got to bail, I'll end up behind this guy
Sure.
and behind you.
50
Sure.
feet's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And 50 feet would put Arthur with Nikolai.
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
So, all right. What is your base perception bonus, both of you? I need to get these things written down, but I haven't.
It's only been like 20 episodes.
7 expert.
6 expert.
7 expert, 6 expert. Lovely. So the two of you start working your way up. What you're going to see is the first thing you're really going to notice is that the trail. You see a wagon right at the edge of the trail, and it looks kind of broken down. You see it kind of sitting there. It looks like it hasn't moved in a while, and you can see the trail comes up to the creek and has like a crossing of it. The creek's shallow enough at this point that there isn't like a bridge or anything. It's just, during a high water area, it might get your knees wet, but otherwise most things, horses, boots, wagons, just roll through. But right on the other side of the road where the creek is a giant log, 2 thick logs right along it. They're not in the trail's way, but they're right next to the trail. Now, if you get a little closer, you can see across the river, and it's hard because the woods here are thick. You can pick out what maybe looks like some sort of light so you're coming in, let's say hypothetically there's a map, and if the trail comes in at the southwest corner of the map, you see it come up going northeast. You see a wagon kind of broken down along it. You see a creek. You see 2 big logs, and then farther to the east, you can barely make out some sort of light, and it's flickering. You don't know if it's a torch or a campfire. Now, Lucky, you just barely picked this out, and you don't see this, Ari. But Lucky, what you see is that just to the northwest, kind of maybe 30 feet, 25 feet off of where the creek and the trail intersect, is a hunting platform, basically. 20 feet off the ground. Looks like sort of like a hunting blind, but it's a 8 foot by 8 foot wooden lashed together platform. And it's somewhat well hidden, but you are just able to see it. And you can see someone up there with a weapon, kind of looking around.
Okay. I non-verbally let Ari know. And then I'll try to non-verbally let these guys know, but they're pretty far away. But at least just
50
give them
feet, you probably got nothing.
What? No.
I'd say you feel like at this point, Lucky, that any motions you make that would be able to get their attention at 50 feet would probably also get the attention of this. And you do see short bow in hand.
Okay. So I just kind of do the SWAT team thing.
Baseball
With
hand
Ari.
signs.
Go.
And signal. And
Steal
I
first.
pull my bow off my shoulder. And I just kind of watch you make your way that direction. I don't know if you have a ranged weapon or if you're planning on going melee. But
I have no ranged weapons.
Is it too
I assume.
Is it too metagamey to say that we're trying to watch them sneak in from where we are?
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, because I think we would have said hey, we're sneaking up there.
So here's what I'll say. What is what's your perception DCs? Because you're still trying to be stealthy.
18.
Arthur, 18.
5.
It's your DC.
Plus 5
15.
is, yeah.
So here's the thing. You're trying to watch them. Both of you completely lose sight of them.
Okay.
And you're like, damn,
We're
they're
so
good.
sneaky.
And you keep them for a little bit on the trail, but I imagine Lucky is not going to be like, let's sneak down the middle of a trail. So you kind of work your way off into these woods that I've been mentioning. And so at some point you lose sight of them, which I suppose is a good thing. It means they're doing well. So Lucky and Ari, what are you going to do?
Ari's creeping up to the bandit.
Yeah, and I'm going to have my bow, and I'm going to fire if the guard seems alerted or the bandit seems alerted.
Okay. You're able to make it up towards the bottom of the tree. There's been no reaction yet.
Would I have to climb up this thing to get to the bandit?
So now that you get down here,
There's a rule for that.
of course there is, but we're not going to need that yet.
Uh-oh.
Because you get to the bottom of the tree and you can see where a rope ladder is hanging down. And perhaps this guard should have rolled the rope ladder up behind them, but it's still down. So there is a rope ladder.
What a jackass.
Now there is, however,
You fool.
there is also you could just old school climb it up one of the trees, or the rope ladder would allow access. Now, I'm going to say if you try to climb up a rope ladder, it's not going to be as easy to stay quiet, because I've never in my life climbed a rope ladder that hasn't creaked and groaned.
No,
That might just be
How
a
many
me thing.
rope ladders have you climbed?
A moderate number, Jane.
But I could be more sneaky if I just climb up the tree.
I'll say yes, but the tree will also, here's the thing. If you climb up the tree, you're going to be stopped. Well, you're going to stop following the expert. And honestly, if you go up the rope ladder without Lucky, you're going to have to stop following the expert because you can't follow Lucky's lead.
Yeah.
Right.
And you won't receive a penalty on your stealth, but at the same time, you'll have to be making basically climbing your exploration activity. So you'll then shift to your stealth DC versus their perception DC.
How tall
Versus
is the
if-
blind?
20 feet up in the air.
Joe Shars could jump up on this thing. And just
Damn.
That's what I'm saying.
Some Arkham Knight
Just
shit.
land on it. So
She's going to like look at Lucky and be like, going up the ladder.
Yep.
And like, she's going to try to just sneak up this ladder as sneaky as possible, but hoping that Lucky also is like ready to shoot if this bandit is like, huh?
Totally. Yep.
All right.
no one looks
That is the
graceful
plan.
climbing a rope ladder.
It's impossible.
You look like an idiot.
I
All
do
right.
like that this dude
Yeah, he
is,
doesn't do like the
is
side
in basically
thing.
in the dark, up on a platform trying to look. He's like blinking from Robin Hood Men in Tights.
It's
Like,
done.
what are you doing? Guessing? I'm guessing no one's coming.
Hey, it's dusk. And also, Trent, that is one of the scenes that was my favorite scene as a
Yes,
child in
yeah.
film. So,
Guessing?
you know
Hey,
what?
man.
What?
Is this a third
Is
patch?
3 the maximum?
Hey, blinking.
Your favoritism for
Did you
Trent
say
is really
eight?
showing lately.
Oh, I can see. Nope, still blind. Trent, here's a retro Denver patch.
Nice.
All right.
We
No,
gotta
so-
use these, or else when we stabilize, we lose all of them.
Yep.
Just a reminder.
That's
Or you could just spend it
right.
on the rolls instead. But yeah, given
Yeah,
our
yeah.
death save rules.
I have a stabilized cantrip.
Excellent.
All right, so Jane, here's what I want to do. I'm actually going to riff off of the way I play Fantasy Grounds, which is it has the one thing that Fantasy Grounds does that I wish I could do in real life is they have a dice tower in which someone can roll their die for a secret check in
Yeah.
the dice tower, and it just shows me the result.
That is cool.
So because this feels important, Jane, here's what I want you to do.
Okay.
You've got a +7, right?
Uh-huh.
I want you
Can I roll
to
behind
roll
his
this
screen?
behind my screen.
Oh, so like I come over to you
No,
and roll
just
it?
drop it over the top
Oh,
You're not allowed to
God.
see
because you can't see the result.
Just throw it at him.
Yeah. All right, here
He
you go.
asked for this.
Casino style.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so I've got the result. I'm going to hand you the die back so you have no idea what you rolled.
It was 17 when he handed it back to me. So.
Sure.
I'm just saying, if it's lower than that, he's a liar.
So it was a 7 right next to the old 17 there.
Ooh. All right, so Jane,
I have a +7 on stealth.
you start going up this ladder, and I'm applying a pretty hefty penalty. I'm applying what I call the rope ladder penalty.
Oh, dear.
Pretty standard, the rope ladder penalty.
Yeah, it's a, you
This
know
is
what?
the way I see it.
Actually, another good band name.
rope ladder penalty.
Here's the thing.
Same
Even
recording
if
company as Cave Juice.
Yeah, yeah.
even if this is a fail, I think in Ari's mind, it's like, well, either I sneak up there and I get the bandit, or I create a great distraction for Lucky to get the
Yeah,
bandit.
totally.
So here's what we're going to do.
I would also like to see if I can perception hear the sound of the rope if she makes a loud noise.
So what we're going to do is, Jane, you make it up to the top of the ladder, and we're going to enter initiative.
Woohoo.
And so you're going to get to use that roll that you just rolled for stealth as your initiative.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing for me?
Oh, snap.
What was the roll?
We about to
Natural
find out.
20.
Hey!
Which is critical initiative.
Crit and Nish.
All right, so we've got Jane's initiative.
Yeah, you do.
And let's get some other ones. So, Jane, natural 20 is going to put you at 27, I believe, for stealth,
Ooh.
based on what you told me.
Uh-huh.
Everyone, you're rolling stealth for initiative. I'm sorry.
That's right.
What you were doing.
Can I do the follow the expert ads or
Nope. Not on initiative.
Poop.
Boop.
I don't even know. Are you going after me? That's all I need to know.
What'd you get for
Probably.
initiative?
27.
Damn.
Hey, we're tied.
18 plus 9.
All right, so you as players get to decide who acts first. We'll come to that in a second. Nico, would you pull? 5.
They just pointed at each other.
Arthur, what'd you get?
A 5.
You're going to have to die roll it. That's the only way.
Roll
So
off.
wait,
Whoever gets
27,
higher.
27.
So I was going to say Lucky shoots him, and then Ari runs up and
Yeah.
throw him off his game.
I was thinking like you get up there and if you don't finish him off, then I can maybe.
well, here's what I'm thinking.
Just don't
It's
trip
going to
him.
be harder for you to hit him
Yeah.
if I knock him prone, which is what I kind of have to do to get
That's true.
the panache. So you should shoot first, then I'll knock him prone, and then hopefully just kill him.
Okay.
Like, there's a part of me that is like so excited as a game master to hear all of you approaching this in such a Pathfinder way of like, how do we layer this fucking shit?
But there's going to be that -4 if
think
I
Ari
knock
just-
him prone.
I think Ari just wants
actually-
the kill so she can go
Get
up
on
the
the
list.
kill
Right.
count.
Stabby, stabby, stabby.
All right. Well, I have,
Also, I would just like to say that I just made a rules argument, which I feel pretty proud of.
Yeah.
You did
That's
have
true.
that, like, I look at me, you look on your face.
I know Pathfinder stuff. Yes.
Oh man, I thought if you argued for a patch, you don't get one.
Jane didn't argue for a patch; she argued for a rule,
What is
which
this?
is
It's
better than a
so
patch.
That's a
Cute.
triangle.
That is a little.
No, it's a little,
a little
dragon
dragon.
on a little
nice.
triangle.
Amazing.
So-
I want to keep this one.
I got that one, I think, at a international scout jamboree from like some of the British scouts, I think.
This
Or
literally
maybe it was-
looks like a
maybe-
tapestry in the cloisters, and I love it.
Or maybe I got it off of a Kickstarter for a book of dragon illustrations. It's one of those two things.
The third J. Zachary Pike book just came out.
Dude, I saw.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked. I still didn't read the second one, but we'll talk
So
about it another
good.
time. All right. So, do you wanna get up at this, Jared?
Yeah, what was everyone else's initiative? Sorry, I missed it.
Oh,
5 and 5.
we are
5 and
way
5.
down
To roll
there.
off and see who
It's up
goes
to you and
first.
me,
No.
Lucky.
Yep, sure is.
You two can decide when it gets to your turn how you're going to act. Because
Okay.
you're technically on the same initiative step, which is cool. Gives some player agency.
The
And I'm-
entire bandit camp will act before we get to.
Yeah.
Well,
Not
we don't-
true.
We don't,
Okay.
We're just sitting back here like, wonder when things are going to... Oh, shit!
Yeah. Okay.
You hear a bandit like, ah!
Oh God! I've been stabbed.
I'm like, oh God, we gotta go.
do we see any more bandits or just this one?
Remember, you saw a little bit of firelight somewhere to the east.
Okay.
And when it gets to Jane's turn, I do have a little bit of information to share.
Fun.
All right. So,
All right, I'm taking a shot.
yep. So here's what I'm saying. This fucker is flat-footed to you. Shots, everybody. And they do have cover because you're shooting up at a blind, and like unless
That's
you're
fine.
really far out, but they're flat-footed, so their AC is going to come out in the wash. They are flat-footed for effects.
Okay, sounds good. Let's go. Taking a shot.
Oh, dang.
What?
Nat 20.
Hey!
Oh god, is this the right button?
Critical hit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hell.
think-
What a start.
Yes.
We're up here like strike teaming
We
this
sure
bandit.
All right. So roll for some damage because I've left my
Card.
critical cards.
Card, you
in the
better
back.
go get them right now.
Trent, run. They're on the desk. In the,
Okay.
No, wait.
Oh no, there's so much stuff in there.
I folded all the
He's
laundry.
gone already.
Oh good.
Oh my god, guys.
No one cares about the laundry.
Wait, it may not be a matter how much
It
damage.
may not matter.
They're in the cubby closest to the screen on the left.
I did. Hold on, I gotta wait for Trent now.
No, don't worry about it. Just go.
I did 22 points of damage.
Oh, yeah, it super doesn't
Trent,
matter.
he's dead. He's dead. It's fine.
I
He just
did
got
it,
cut in
Trent.
half with an arrow.
I rolled a d6 for my
Yeah, for
short
sneak
bow,
attack.
a
Oh.
d6 for my sneak attack.
Oh
and then
god.
So it was 4d6 total.
Yeah.
I rolled 6, 6, 6, 4.
You the devil.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was wild.
Brr, brr, brr.
So
wait, are you saying because it's dark that this bandit can't see him?
shit.
Oh, do I have to roll a flat
You
check?
have to roll a
Oh
flat check
no.
now.
Sorry.
Son of
Can
a
I
bitch.
use a
That's
patch on a flat
terrible
check?
time
It's
to
a
make a
D20
John
roll,
Cena
yes.
joke.
You need a 5 or higher.
14.
You're
Okay,
fine.
we're fine.
They take
He can't see him.
because I'm particularly familiar with this after essentially airing a correction. They are dead to massive damage.
Yes.
Is that a rule?
Amazing.
Yeah. Shut up, Jason. Yeah, so their head just explodes, Scanners style, just, and the body slumps to the ground in front of you, Jane.
And Ari's like, oh God.
And you see in its left hand, it rolls out of it a odd-shaped rock with runes engraved on the different faces of it.
It's a messaging stone.
Ah, frick. Can
What's-
Ari do
well, maybe-
can I identify that somehow?
Jane, you can try to identify it on your turn.
Okay.
Because it's still Lucky's turn with 2 more actions.
You just make this guy's head explode?
Yeah, I believe explicitly what I said was Scanners style.
Oh God.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking more like, it's an upward angle. So I was thinking like maybe he like looked over the edge and I got him. I'm like leaning away from the mic. Got him like up through the bottom of the jaw.
Ugh. Hits and the stone
Ari's gonna
rolls
look at
out from
Lucky
his
and be
hand.
like, oh my God.
I just like throw my hands over.
Oh wait. I gotta add that to the kill tracker.
Yeah, baby.
But you didn't see it.
Oh, I'm adding it to the kill
It's
tracker.
like the Blades in the
You can
Dark
feel
rule. If no one's aware of your heist, you can't gain reputation.
That's right. Uh-oh.
Okay, go on.
Oh, no.
I made a mistake on this.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Okay.
Keep talk amongst yourselves.
You're going to have to listen to all the episodes again.
For the first time.
Lucky's going to do a seek action. He's just going to look to see if anyone looks alerted.
Okay, so this is your perception bonus is a plus what?
7.
That's a secret check. All right, you look around. No one seems to have heard anything. You don't see any motion. You hear the river, which is a little bit of noise. So that's helpful. And it's evening, so you've got like, evening bug sounds, crickets and whatnot.
Okay. Then
Okay. You got an action left.
I'll re-hide.
Ooh, okay.
Could be a thunderstone too.
Yeah.
All right, Jane, it's your turn.
Did you lose it?
I lost the kill tracker. I'm going to have to restart it.
Oh no!
Whoever's been listening to keep track.
I was ahead.
Ari's in charge.
This one was,
Email Trent.
Yep.
Ryan, looking at you. He was like, I love that Trent keeps a kill tracker. It's my favorite thing.
Well,
I'm going to have to restart it.
new character, new tracker.
Well, I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to listen back to the whole thing.
Didn't we say something like that of like, oh, by the way, here's Biff's journal of all of the kills.
yeah.
Here
Which
you
he
go,
was
Arthur.
updating through his bleeding out to death.
Aw.
All right, Ari, it's your turn.
Okay, I'm going to try to identify this little stone.
All right, so this is going to be another secret check.
Okay.
What do you have craft?
Yes.
What's your craft bonus?
Plus 2.
Okay.
I forgot we all took craft because none of us took it last time.
Last time, yeah.
Performance. Everybody took a little performance, probably.
It does appear to be some sort of alchemical item, and you can't piece it all together, but it looks like it has something to do with maybe like compression or like acoustic stuff.
I'm going to take it.
Okay. All right, so you pick it up. Boom. You've got 2 actions. I'm going to call it 2 actions. 1 to like look at it, 1 to pick it up. It's an interact action. You got 1 action left. You're up on this blind. I guess I can take away that bandit's miniature. What do you do for your 3rd action?
I would like to perceive if there's any bandits around.
All right, and what's your perceive bonus?
6.
Yeah, you don't see any.
Okay.
All right, that's your turn. Now it's some other things' turns.
Oh, great.
Fun.
Fantastic.
The salamander runs away.
Yeah.
Like, ah!
I killed father.
Oh, now I'm sad. All right, Nico and Arthur, it's your turns. You haven't heard or seen anything.
we haven't heard anything. But we know they got closer.
Presumably.
I think Arthur would clunk up another, like... I'll use 2 actions, go 50 feet up.
All right, that's going to put you right at the bottom left corner of the map. Jane, would you be so kind? It's directly behind your laptop, right where it's super inconvenient to
You literally
reach.
can't see it.
Yeah. And so, Trent, you're going to clunk up to the bottom
Actually,
left
at half
corner.
speed, that'd probably be all 3 of my actions to get up there.
Okay, so you'll sneak up horribly
Yeah.
to there. All right, Nico, what about you? What are you doing?
If he's moving, I kind of move with him.
Okay.
When I get to him where he is,
Yep.
I would like... Jason wants to eventually get in one of those blinds, so how close do I have to be to see that it's there?
At this point, you're not actively looking for it. I think you...
Okay.
I think if you were within 20 feet, you'll
Okay.
notice it. So
Ari's
yeah, you get up.
Standing on top of one, does that help him see?
Well, she's
No,
standing on top of
Ari's
this one, and
pretty
that one's only
stealthy.
15 feet away, so
Okay.
next
That-
round I can climb it or whatever.
That's the only... He did say there was 2 blinds, one on the west side of their encampment, one on the east side.
Oh, so that one and this one, not...
That's
that
a
one's
wagon.
make-believe, that's a wagon. Either
So
way,
they
it's something
can't-
to stand on.
Yeah.
So they can't see Ari,
You can't see anyone, so you don't know if anyone can see you.
but Nikolai and Arthur can't see
Oh,
Ari.
correct. No.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, unless you turn on your head.
I was going to say, I'm like considering being like, oh, and then turn it off.
All right. Are you done with your turn, Nikolai? I'd say, you stealthed up, so did you like stealth up as well just because you're not being loud, or did you just walk up?
I would say he's confident in the woods and on the terrain, so he walks.
So you've got an extra action if you want to go ahead
I'm
and
gonna
use
try
it.
to get up on that wagon.
So no problem. You just walk up and
It's not like laden with explosives, right?
there's some stuff in the back of it, but it's in like some sacks and a couple of small boxes. So no, you don't think so.
All right, I'm taking your word for it.
All right. So Jane, Nikolai,
Place me in
thank
that
you.
wagon.
You climb up to the wagon behind the vert. All right, there's some other things, turns. We're going to stay in combat time just for now because I feel like it's tense. Lucky, it's your turn. You're down at the bottom of the blind. You see, like I said, saw some sort of fire off to the east.
Yeah, like he's just going to creep towards the river
Okay.
in
So-
stealth. So moving real slow.
I
So-
fucking love this, by the way. That we're all inching closer.
Yeah, I kind of pictured when I killed the bandit that Ari was like at the top of the blind and like caught the
Caught the
body before it
body,
hit
yeah.
the ground. Like,
Yeah.
Assassin's
like
Creed shit.
Yeah.
I was thinking some like, I don't know, Zero Dark 30
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
All right, so that'll be what, 40, let me round down, 35 feet of movement stealth, and the river will be difficult terrain, so those will each cost an additional 5 feet to
I
get
would
across
just go
the
to the
river at
edge
the
of the
crossing.
river.
So you make it to the edge of the river. All right, you've still got 2 actions left then,
Oh, okay.
or 1 action
One
left.
action.
You make it to the edge of the river.
And I'll just do another seek or perception.
All right, you can go ahead and roll it for me.
11.
You're able to pick out the flames. You can't hear a lot. The river's not loud enough where maybe you hear some voices occasionally, but it seems like it's to the east. A decent amount, 20, 40, 60, maybe 80, 100 feet to the east. You can pick out some light moving and flickering.
Okay. Sounds good.
Ari, your turn.
What's the stealthiest way for Ari to get down?
The ladder.
Jump.
I was going to say, would jumping be quieter or louder?
Louder, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, look, the rope ladder is loud if you're right next to it.
You
but
made a really big deal about how loud the rope ladder was.
It's loud if you're near it, but it is quieter than a body hitting the ground from a 20-foot fall.
Ari pulls out her slide and connects it and slides down the
Okay.
side. No, she's going to go down the rope ladder.
Now, are you using stealth, or are you just going to say, like, oh, it's
Stealthing
probably
down
fine?
the rope ladder.
All right, so 20 feet of movement. That'll be half, 2 of your movements, basically, to make it down
To
the
get
ladder.
down the ladder.
Yep.
Okay,
and then
great.
you can move 10 feet after that.
And I'm just going to follow Lucky.
All right, so you'll move 10 feet to the east. Still a whole lot of nothing going on there. All right, Arthur, it's your turn. You're still not seeing either of these folks
Yeah.
because they stealthy. Actually, Arthur, as you get a little closer, you think you might see Lucky at the river's edge, the crick
Oh.
edge,
I'm like, oh, okay, here we go.
the crickage.
He's going to continue to try and stealth, and he'll go up another like 50 feet.
And you have without following the expert, what is your
Oh, I'm a 0.
Okay.
No, you're a hero.
So you'll move a
bro.
total of I think 20, 25 feet for all 3 of your actions stealthing.
Yeah,
So because you're slower in your armor.
right.
Oh no, wait,
no,
you're
I'm 25 feet is my speed.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you can move 40 feet up.
Yeah.
All right. So and sure enough, Lucky and Ari and Nico, you're all like, oh,
Clunk, 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 clunk,
there's
clunk,
Ari.
clunk.
Look, it's not horrible. It's just not great.
Yeah.
All right, Nikolai, it's your turn.
Can I see from, the 10 feet or 5 feet I'm standing up higher? Like, can I see into the camp any better?
From there, you're able to. You can make a seek check to get a little bit more, but you see a little bit of flickering light over the east, but you don't.
Okay. I'm not going to make a perception check.
Okay.
So what I'll do is the fact that I can probably see the river and no one's
Yep.
in between me and them.
Yep.
I'll start to make my way just to the other side of the river. I'll try to cross it.
Do you want to start stealthing at any point in that movement?
I want to scout.
No, we're still in combat time.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Do you want to stealth at any part or encounter time? You want to stealth at any point during the movement, like just for the end, or?
I would say once I get across the river.
Okay. All right, so that'll be your movement. The river will cost an extra 5 feet. Actually, if you cross at the crossing on the road, no penalty to movement there. So you
That's
should be
fine.
able to make it to
'Cause
there
I wanna-
and then stealth up to that giant log at the
Yeah.
end. All
And then I'll
right.
kind of kneel behind it.
And your bonus to stealth isn't great without
Mhm.
following the expert.
No, it's 1.
That's fine. I've got you. You make it up there. You can start to hear voices
Okay.
and see a little bit of like campfire light to the east. You're maybe now 60 feet away from it, give or take.
Can I tell if they are like preparing for intruders?
What I'll say is
Or
it
rushing
sounds
around?
boisterous,
Yeah.
but you hear at least 5 or 6 voices.
Okay.
But I think in order to find out how many it actually is, you're going to have to tune in next week.
Oh.
nice.
Actually
Of course.
Sorry, guys.
The Live to Die podcast is a production of Live to Die Gaming. Follow us on social media at Live to Die Pod. Leave a review and tune in next week for more. If you like the amazing background audio and music, all that credit goes to Syrinscape. Make sure you check them out at Syrinscape.com.